Thanks for being with me again. Look, just wanted to have a conversation about Donald Trump. Now, it's a tough conversation to have when you dislike someone intensely, and I do. But it needs to be had anyway because I am a wee bit confused as to what's happening in the United States. Now, this is a state of mind which I often experience, mainly because um, I am continually and always confused about politics in the US. It's so different in many ways to to the type of politics we have here in Australia, even though there's some undercurrent that tells me that we could probably be heading in their direction at some particular time, a moment I'm not necessarily looking forward to. But nevertheless, I am confused. The reason why I'm confused is that it seems to me that Trump has decided that at some particular point he is likely to be arrested and indicted, and that he is preparing his minions to take action when that happens. Also, I think he's trying to set up an environment in which he has some element of control so that he can make sure that the perp walk is something which looks powerful and strong, makes him look like he's the victim, which is really his sense of eternal victimhood that he adheres to most of the time. I think that is kind of who he is, and this is what he's planning to do again. Now, there's a range of possible indictments against Trump, ranging from the Stormy Daniels thing right through to influencing an election outcome to the insurrection. And I think my prediction, mind you, is that there's going to come a time when all of this stuff is going to fall together like a stack of dominoes, and he will find himself in varying counties, varying states, indicted for varying activities. Now, what this tells us is a number of things, I think. That number one, in the United States, if you've got power and authority in the past, you tended to get away with it. And there are probably thousands of examples of just that. But in this particular instance, this was the most powerful man in the land who's the first person to ever be indicted for a criminal offence, even though the Stormy Daniels issue is probably on the lower end of those categories. And then we go through to the insurrection, which is kind of treasonous event, I guess, at the other end. So here is a man who's found his way out of every sticky situation he's ever been in, and finally, he's going to be held to account for something which he has done, a criminal act in which he's participated in. Now, Donald Trump normally tends to issue instructions, sit at the back of the pile, if you like, telling people what it is that they should do, and then steps back and allows them to get themselves into trouble. It is evident that he took no part in trying to help any of those people who have been jailed as a result of the insurrection. He promised at one point, I think in one of his campaigns, that if someone got arrested at one of his campaigns, at his rallies, that he would pay for their legal fees. He has not paid for anybody's legal fees in terms of those people that have been arrested and charged and are now locked up. He has backed away from helping anybody because at the end of the day, the only person that Donald Trump is interested in is himself. And so I'm sitting back waiting. It was supposed to be Wednesday my time. It's now Thursday here in Australia, and we're still waiting to see what happens to Trump. I'm looking forward to the time when this terrible, obnoxious, narcissistic, psychopathic individual is locked away. I think it will send a strong message to people in the United States that no matter where you sit, no matter what authority you think that you have, you are not above and beyond the law. This is an important message to be sent to everybody, I think, knowing that you can transgress the law, but eventually you will be caught. The interesting thing I've found about the United States is that eventually, the legal system somehow will catch up with you. It doesn't matter how many federal court judges you've appointed, that they will interpret the law specifically as they see the law, as the law is written, and they will punish accordingly. It's going to be an interesting outcome. I'm hoping this man gets locked up. I'm hoping that the rest of the Republicans will start to realise what a traitorous individual he is, and as a result of that, maybe, just maybe, they will change their attitude, stop kowtowing to this man, and maybe they could actually start passing legislation that's going to benefit the community, as opposed to having committee meetings, which is about attacking government, the Justice Department, and others. So let's see what happens. It's an interesting time in American politics, as it always seems to be, and I'm keen to see what happens. Be interested to know what you might think about all of that, and I'd like you to be able to subscribe to me, ring the bell if you want further notifications. Let me know what you think down below, but stand by for further posts. I've just done a post on the Voice here in Australia. Have a look at that if you're overseas. It's worth having a look at because it's doing something for all First Nations people here, and it's an historic moment, and it's worth recording, which I've done, and it's worth discussing. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care. Look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.